Our clients are made up of large-scale retail department stores, marijuana dispensaries, cash vaults, casinos, private banks. We're not federal. We're essentially middlemen. Hundreds of millions shifting through here every week. We got 12 trucks, 2 or 3 guards in each. A driver, a messenger, and a guard, each moving up to 15 mil a day, and sometimes more, which can attract unwanted attention. I won't lie, it can be dangerous, which is why we train you properly and pay the premium rates, so we can all sleep better at night.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
And starts to cry like a little girl.
Yeah, actually, I am in LA. Hey, cool. Why don't you come down and film set? I'll give you some lines. You can be a guy that gets shot in the face.
Are not referring to polar bears. It's referring to constellations.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheapseat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
The greater good. That's horrible. That was supposed to be Jason Statham. He's more British, I guess.
Yeah, he's not a troll.
Greater good. I get it. Well, he's got the dark, raspy, deep voice. I don't know exactly how else to do.
What part of the European continent are we even on?
It was almost an Austrian Schwarzenegger thing happening.
Well,
I think that was Danish.
I tried. That's all I got to say.
It was Dutch.
Yeah, it's those people in, the long lost family in Russia that got lost in Siberia and never found civilization. So that's more like it.
Sounds like a very good action hero backstory.
There you go.
Okay, well, that was fun. That was an adventure in of itself. This is episode 399. 399, guys.
99.
399. That's
almost
400. It's incredible.
Yeah, too bad we're just quitting right now.
Tonight, this is the last one.
This is it. This is no more after this.
Well, as much work as I put into next week, by God, we're going to do it. I don't care what happens. Even if I'm doing the trivia by myself, I'm doing that. But that's next week. Tonight, what are we doing? We're talking about Wrath of Man, which I really hate that name. I feel
it really is.
It's very misleading.
When you told me we were doing Wrath of Man, I thought it was an old movie, an old movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I thought it was a Star Trek film.
It's funny because when you type Wrath of Man, in the GIF bar on Twitter, there's 2 for this movie and about 48 for Star Trek. So
nice.
And of course, this movie does have a pretty fun and good Star Trek connection, which we'll get to way later in the episode. I am Sean Allred. And joining me tonight is Andrew. Why was Andy Garcia in this movie, Jimison?
Hello, Dad Bod Sean, and clever girl Sam. Those are your nicknames for this. Since everyone in this movie had a nickname, those are yours.
Oh,
no one had.
Yeah, nice.
No one had real names. Everybody had a nickname. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It even came up in the credits that way with the little pop-up video style thing you can get when you pause.
Yeah.
And it lists all the actors and their characters that are in that scene. He came up as H.
Yeah. Well, that's how he's listed also on the IMDb, the thing that Andrew will read here in a little bit. I still think that Josh Hartnett, his was the worst. Boy Sweet Dave. That's a weird name, but
I thought it was Boy Sweat.
Boy Sweat.
Sweat. Yes,
Boy
thank you. Sweat.
She's even weirder, to be honest.
Boy Sweat Dave. Yeah, it's gross, but whatever.
How did he get that nickname? We do not want to know.
Yeah, I kind of do want to know. I feel like there's so much backstory in this movie that we don't get, including why is Andy Garcia in this thing? I don't really know what his role was other than to be a guy in a car. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Sam.
What?
It was so nice to see Josh Hartnett again, Vector.
It certainly was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was
as
well. So that was
that
was awesome.
Yeah, I think you unplugged yourself.
Yeah, or you muted yourself. Say that again, Sam. It was nice to what?
It was nice to see him get killed again.
Oh.
So
again.
that was quite nice. Yes. I'm not a Hartnett fan, I guess you could say. So
that's fine.
But Sean,
yeah,
just so you know, there was many bullets going everywhere in this film. But my preferred way to kill you in this one would definitely be the plastic bag over the face.
Oh my gosh.
So,
we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
The plastic bag.
So I thought I'd let you know.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Anytime, bud.
Thanks, man. All right. And making her Cheapseat Reviews debut, I'm very excited to announce September. Why not just tell your crew the plan from the Geek Grills Podcast and fellow America's Next Top Podcaster contestant? Welcome to the show.
Woo! Salutations. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, thank you for filling in. We had a little scheduling conflict, and you answered the call, and I really appreciate it. And also, I guess it's officially nice to actually meet you, even though we were contestants together. We didn't we didn't get to team up in the early stages.
Spoilers, come on.
Well, spoilers. I think everyone knows at this point that I am no longer in the competition. So
the Sean-pocalypse.
The Sean-pocalypse happened, and that's okay. But keep listening and find out what happens with September. So
absolutely,
lots of exciting stuff still to be released.
Yeah, and yes, and I know about some of it, not all of it, but some of it. Only what they're willing to tell me. But it gets a little lonely in the. Or not lonely. It gets a little, what am I trying to say? I don't know what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter. I was just going to say something about the ex-contestants room. We literally have our own lounge in Discord, and there's cookies and soft drinks, and it's lovely.
But you can still come in the main season 4 contestants chat.
Oh, yeah. I
can. You could have listened to the episodes ahead of time.
Well, you're right. I guess I could have. I just didn't because I was angry and bitter.
A lot of people didn't. Needed time to recover.
Yeah, it's an emotional thing, but that's not what we're here to talk about. What we are here to talk about.
Oh, I thought that's what the whole point of tonight was.
We
intervention intervention for Sean. I mean, it's we need to pump up his self-esteem and just really get him going now.
Oh, I appreciate that. You know what? All I can say is that in my exit moment, I was very kind of relieved when Justin Robert Young very plainly said, we have to follow the rules, which was his way of saying, you weren't the worst one of the, like if we could have kicked someone else out from a different team that lost 2 weeks in a row, we would have. Yeah. But unfortunately, them's the rules, and then I bet you they probably were kicking themselves a little bit for not kicking out Casey before me, but still.
maybe a little.
I imagine your exit from the show was a lot like Nixon. You got on the chopper and
I was very gracious. Signs. I was annoyed. I was kind of surprised, but I feel like I didn't burn any bridges, and I felt very gracious. And in my exit, like little chat that you have to do that's for the end, again, I thought I was nice, I guess. I don't know. So go listen to it. America's Next Top Podcaster. If you want to listen to people get really upset, then that's a good place to do it also. It's a competition.
No. People aren't getting upset. Just the one time. So I think everybody's been pretty good as far as I've heard. In the competition.
Well, there was another time, but it wasn't recorded, so.
Oh.
But if you
behind the scenes,
if you listen to another person's podcast, you can hear them rant about it there. I'll tell you about it later.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, and that was fun to hear later. Anyway, we're gonna move on. So, Wrath of Man.
No, I want to keep going.
We'll do that.
Let's totally sabotage. I'll keep going.
Wrath of Man, 2021's movie, The Wrath of Man. I keep wanting to say The Wrath of Man. It's a Guy Ritchie film. So I picked this movie because I like Guy Ritchie films. We've done a few for the podcast, I think. We've done King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. We've done Snatch.
Good,
we did... What else? I can't think of the other ones. Because we've not done... we did Sherlock Holmes, right? We did Sherlock Holmes.
We did that, yeah.
And
We didn't do Man from Uncle.
we have not done Man from Uncle, but that would be a good one for us to do.
That would. I've heard that's good.
I've seen it. It's not too bad.
It's fine. It's just a good time.
Yeah.
I do want to see Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and I think we had The Gentleman on our list. I think it's on our schedule also. I can't remember now. Anyway, I like Guy Ritchie films. I'm just gonna be honest. I like his movies. I think they are, interesting and fun and whatever. And so when I saw that this movie was streaming, I thought this would be a good one to do. And was I right? Was I wrong? I guess we'll find out here in just a little bit. So Andrew, please tell people what this movie is, because there's probably people that don't know what this is.
The plot follows H, a cold and mysterious character working at a cash truck company responsible for moving hundreds of millions of dollars around Los Angeles each week. That doesn't really tell you anything about the movie. It just tells you who we follow in the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't really give this one away.
Yeah.
With the weird route it takes, I was appreciative of not knowing where I was going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so we're going to do 5 words here in just a second. But to Sam's point, particularly, this movie does not have a linear timeline. It is not start at the beginning, get to the end, there's your story.
Yep.
Right? This is, we're going to start here in the present, and then you go back 5 months, and then you skip ahead some time, and then like we almost have like a bookend, and then we go back again. Like there's almost 2 different stories happening. And then we merge, and then we go forward.
Because if you just told it sequentially, it would have been a Liam Neeson movie. Any number of them.
Yeah.
Instead, he tried to be Tarantino.
Too. Yeah.
And mix it all up and chop it into pieces in a really weird way. Like it took until like almost 40 minutes in to start. Then they started shifting the time around and putting these random subtitles that someone is going to say at some point, or, a line. Like it just took so long to start treating it that way. It was kind of jarring.
Yeah. So
the first,
yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yep.
So the movie does have basically it's a 3-act system, and the movie tells you, hits you over the head with the title card. This is Act 1. This is Act 2. This is Act 3. They're just not called Act 1. It's just a line from the movie. It's an ominous line from that section, and we go from there. So we'll start off here with our 5-word reviews. Sam.
All right, I've got 2, and I have the first one is A Long Dark Road to Revenge, which is pretty much the what it is.
Yeah.
But then I wrote Puzzle Pieces Make Story Interesting. And I was really confused at the beginning. I still don't quite know if he worked for the feds or if he was trying to rob the truck to begin with. I'm not 100% sure what was going on with that. So I don't know if you guys could clue me in if I missed something or whatever. But I sat down wanting to not like this, and just like a lot of Guy Ritchie movies, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty darn good. I liked the story. I like the fact that we got to know the villains and knew why they were doing what they were doing, and kind of how it was going to happen, and how the pieces of Jason Statham came together at the very end to finally get his revenge. So I enjoyed the way the story was told. It was different and interesting the way he did piece these things from different avenues kind of coming in all at once to finally set the story straight. So the only confusion I had on this was simply, where did Jason Statham, or H, I guess we could call him, was he a Fed? Was he a police officer?
No,
What was he?
He was the top guy in
like
one of the criminal organizations.
Okay, so they were trying to rob the truck at some point.
Yeah, he was there to do recon for his own crew to rob the truck, and then the army ex-army group got there first.
first. Oh, okay.
But the part that I'm confused about is where Andy Garcia comes in, because he's clearly a Fed. He's like CIA or something.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's almost like they have history, and they're like buddies.
yeah,
Yeah, it's his contact in,
because when
It's like they were in a buddy cop movie together at one point, where the criminal has to team up with the cop, and then this is the aftermath.
yeah,
But they never showed that part.
No, they
showed
didn't.
Why?
No, just
Andy
random
Garcia,
FBI guys.
Unless Andy Garcia was the boss to Jason Statham or something,
But
or
he was-
a head boss or something. But it felt really. I wanted to know where he came from.
I
think
did
that was
too.
my only issue with it. Is just why is he?
Well, because there was
Why
one short scene.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because his underlings were like, we found H, like we found the guy, and he's working for this security thing, and he's like, no, let him do his thing, and but then we find out later that he had also given him a list in the past of other bad guys that could have been that killed his son.
Oh, okay. So that's how they worked together. They didn't go into that far. So that's why he left the money behind and everything else.
yeah.
Because basically what the feds did was let him take care of the issue his own way, rather than them coming in and breaking it up.
It kind of felt like Garcia was like, okay, hey, here are a list of bad guys that we want dead, but we can't.
Yeah.
We can't prosecute because we don't have evidence. So if you kill them, fine. Just only kill these guys on the list.
Yeah.
And that's kind
It was
of
like enemy of my, enemy is my friend situation, because
Yeah.
the FBI was looking for the guys that pulled off the heist.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
so when
so
Andy
was H.
Garcia was like, yeah, here's this guy, just leave him the F alone because he's going to take care of things. So it was just still a little ambiguous, and maybe we've sussed it out enough that it's fine. But even in the movie, I thought, because he's in the very last scene where he just goes upstairs. And so part of me is thinking, is he there to take the money, or is he just there to oversee the crime scene until the police can get there to reclaim the money? Because part of me thought he's going to steal some of that money. Like
Right.
he's not exactly a by the book agent either. So I got a feeling Andy Garcia just bought himself a nice new car or something.
An island somewhere you can send it to.
I think he was just there to take credit for the bust.
Yeah, maybe.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the FBI shows up, how did this guy die? I don't know, but don't look at the autopsy too closely, or especially the one that's on the floor of his son. Maybe he was there to clean up the crime scene. Because everything points to to H.
Oh yeah.
All right. Andrew, what's your 5-word review?
Did you notice the right off the bat credit at the top? It was a Toff Guy production, like TOFF.
No. Is that one of the production companies?
I was like, oh, really? They're starting right off with a pun, or is there a Toff person? Like,
oh dear.
I thought that was funny.
That just might be the name of the production
It
company.
sounds like something Guy Ritchie would do. Yeah.
Well, like all these production companies are weird. Like they all have to have these weird names, and they're.
I think we lost Sean.
Yeah, I think we lost them all.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah, he's
He's
really frozen.
He's gone.
Now.
He's definitely frozen now because he's blurry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Obviously, my recording is
lost
fine,
power.
so I'm going to pause. I have no idea where we are, and for those who eventually hear this in the recording, I've lost internet. I'm using my cell phone as a hotspot. Let's hope it holds out. Who hasn't given their 5-word review?
Only one of us has.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, then Andrew, give us your 5-word review. That's where we were. I was trying to throw to Andrew, and you couldn't hear me, and I thought, oh my gosh, September's being really rude. She's interrupting me on my own show. But then I realized, but then you couldn't hear me. That's why. All right. So Andrew, what's your 5-word review?
Okay, I've got 2. Another time traveling Statham cardigan advertisement.
The man really loves him some cardigans. He really does.
Yeah.
They look comfortable, though.
The man sweaters in this, I have not seen since Mr. Rogers, and with the big collar too. Those are nice. I'm gonna have to get some of those. The other one I said, good movie in there somewhere. That's my other. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was in a bad mood when I watched it, but I tell you, the first 15 minutes of this, maybe 20 minutes of this movie, I hated every minute of it. The dialogue, I could not keep up. Nobody had a real name. Everyone had nicknames. And it was like every time you meet a character, you have to be introduced to them with their nickname. And what's the guy? Bullet.
Bullet.
Yeah. He had to he was introducing the cast. I mean, literally, he was taking him on this tour of the bank vault delivery station locker room, which I didn't realize that 600 people worked in one bank delivery system, but I guess they do at the depot there, the Home Depot.
Yeah.
But everybody just that bothered me, and then the dialogue I thought was awful at the beginning. It was all dick jokes or I hate to. Well, I don't hate to say this. It was locker room talk is exactly what it was. The entire first 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Locker room
You're
talk.
my favorite.
And
I literally have in my notes, casual misogyny is hilarious.
Right. And
Yeah.
I was just furious about it the whole time. And I even texted you guys as I was watching it. I think I might have been the first one to watch it, and of the three of us. And I said, I hope this gets better or something like that. Now, I will say that it did get a little bit better as far as the plot and the storytelling, but I thought the dialogue never got any better. I thought the characters never got any better. And I just didn't enjoy. I don't know if it was the actors. I don't know if it was the writing. I don't know. It's fine. That's why I think there's a good movie in there somewhere. But this one missed the mark on me. And Guy Ritchie, I mean, I like a lot of his stuff, but not this one.
Interesting.
Okay, that's fair. All right, September.
I have 3. I don't need to give them all to you, though.
You can go for it. You wrote them.
So the first one was bad guy killing worse guys.
Yeah.
A convoluted hierarchy of villains, which I feel is something that some of us
Well,
share.
we talked about that earlier. Too.
Yeah.
No, you're totally right with that. I was so confused.
And you're not Tarantino. Stop it. I mean, it feels like he was trying to be edgy with that. And I also totally agree. It was so hard to get into. I did watch it a second time. I watched it last Thursday and I finished it and I texted Sean, that was a movie. I really did not like it. It's just, I know they spent all their money on Statham apparently. And Clint Eastwood's son, but the first voices in the movie, those are the worst actors I have ever heard in my life.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
It's so wooden, and the lines are stupid, and it's like that's just a bad foot to start off on, right? Like it's just like, wow, this is gonna be terrible. Like you couldn't do another take, or give them a piece of candy. Like it just threw me right at the freaking beginning with that. And then, the do you really think big bad tough guys, like, is it in the writing, or do they really act that way? Do they all just constantly call each other a girl? to imply you're weak. I mean, that seems so 1950s.
Mhm.
And like, I know this genre kind of came out of, film noir, but it was so hokey and a lot of little sloppy script stuff. When he goes home with Dana and they hook up, and just so he can search her apartment for money and find out if she's the inside person. But then he throws the stuff on the bed and he's like, meet me in, what did he say? Meet me next door. To go into her living room from the bedroom and have her come over. And he's like, meet me next door. And I'm like, does he live next door? What is happening right now?
Yeah, I forgot about that line. I remember hearing that and I was like, what, is there a coffee shop next door? What's going on?
And then it was the living room.
Yeah.
And
I forgot about
nobody caught this?
Yeah. I remember hearing it. It didn't click because I think I was just having such a bad time with the movie.
It did get better. Like some of the acting wasn't terrible. The guy who was Bullet was decent, and Scott Eastwood was a good actor. And some of it was a little more believable as far as just you could finally follow the story some. But the best part of the movie was that cover of Folsom Prison Blues by Biotech Cal.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of bad actors, Josh Hartnett, I don't mind him in a lot of things, but this one, in the scene where their truck is getting held up and Bullet gets taken, right? And he like freaks out and starts to like cry like a little girl. No offense to all the single girls in the world.
Well, about what we just talked about, but
yeah, but it's terrible acting. It was just bad.
Have you never been held hostage in an armored truck?
Well, and then Jason Statham's reaction is he just turns to him and you need to calm down. Like, okay. I don't know. We just had two extremes, I don't know.
I think it's supposed to emphasize that Hartnett is all bark and no bite, and Statham is the other way around.
Yeah, because
like
he was
felt
so
like
cocky.
overacting though.
Yeah, but I mean, like has Hartnett done acting in the last 10 years? Like, I don't know, but it felt like, I mean, seriously, like he's been missing for a while.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him since like Hollywood Homicide or something like that, Like it's been a
well,
he's
and
he's done a thing called Die Hard, which is it's like a series, and then he's done Paradise Lost, which is another series.
Oh, yeah, he's doing stuff.
Yeah, when I saw him in this, and then once I realized Jason Statham H was trying to find an inside person, I thought he was a big enough named actor to be that person. Like, I thought it was going to be him on the inside because of his stature, or because he's a bigger name than everybody else in that place. So
that is one thing the movie did well. I did not think it was Bullet.
Yeah, exactly.
So I did from the beginning.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think it was him, but I knew that it wasn't Hartnett because I felt like it all arrows were pointing to him, so it can't be him. Like
right.
That would be. I felt like that would be too on the nose, but I didn't expect it to be him. I honestly thought it was gonna be
Gate guy.
No, the boss, not the owner, but the boss.
Yeah.
Because we've seen him in other things. He's in other Guy Ritchie films, and he's usually like kind of a sleazy kind of a guy. I mean, I know he played Lestrade in the Sherlock Holmes films, and he's a legitimate good guy in those. But like all I could think of him is like the bad guy from Hancock.
Yeah.
So as soon as I saw him in this movie, I was like, oh, he's
Eddie Marsden.
Oh, Marsden, thank you.
Yeah.
He's the bad guy. But no.
No.
All right. My 5-word.
Does anybody else know?
Oh.
By the way, sorry.
You're fine.
The stuff with the gangsters freaking out about the drunk driver killing somebody's only son, even though it was obviously one of them, but it was an accident, so they were going to say it was a drunk driver. And then they just ran right into talking to H about his situation with his son getting killed. Is that just like a completely random thread that just got dropped and never picked up, right?
Well, I think, I mean, the only reason
the
H
bike?
was there was because the guy on the bike didn't make it to that job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the guy on the bike was what his job was, what he was doing, basically.
Right. We had to have a reason for H to go to the, the
Okay.
job.
Sloppy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
that could have been done
Yeah.
differently.
Well, it's the way that they had to find a way to get him there because he doesn't want to be there, right? It's his time with his son, and the only way you can get him there is if it's a work thing that can't be, he can't get out of, and so that's why he has to go and get the burritos and whatever. So that part I had, of the complaints we've had so far, that one's pretty low on my priority. But that's just me. Okay, so my 5 words: heist wrapped in some revenge.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a bad joke, kind of a play. This is only going to work if you get it. If you don't, this is not going to be funny at all. But Transporter 5, slow but vengeful. I'm playing on Fast and Furious with the Transporter thing. That's the play. Slow but vengeful. So this movie is kind of a slow burn. The things that I liked about this movie, I like the way the story is told. I like the jumping around. I like that I have to engage my brain because it's just a revenge film, right? Like I think you said, if this was from A to B, straight line storytelling, then it's just another Liam Neeson movie, right?
Yeah.
And it's a lesser version of John Wick. So if we're going to do a lesser version of John Wick, then we have to find a way to make it creative. And so we're going to do it with some interesting storytelling. Now, what I was a little annoyed by, and I have some other things that I liked, but I was kind of like, this is Guy Ritchie. So give me a Guy Ritchie film. Give me some weird slow-mo. Give me some weird character that you can't understand what he's saying. Like,
They did.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Jason Statham.
well, yeah. But
You
I
wanted
mean,
Boomhauer?
like I don't know.
Boomhauer.
Like Snatch. Like I want Brad Pitt from Snatch. Or like, I mean, King Arthur: Legend of the Sword is a better film than this. Like I had a lot of fun with that movie because it's an ensemble cast and they all play off each other. Whereas this is just there are 2 characters in this movie. There's Jason Statham and then all of the douchebags around him. Right? Like because they all suck. They all kind of just suck in their own way, except for Eddie Marsden, but he's kind of a nice guy. Oh,
sorry, cat.
Someone agreed.
She's deaf,
yeah,
so she gets very loud, and she doesn't understand that she's very loud.
So, can I ask a question that we've all kind of mentioned something that we feel like we missed somewhere. There's a character that I don't really know who she was. And that's Kirsty. I didn't catch her name exactly.
The lady from Cheers?
No.
Oh, his fixer?
His fixer, yeah.
Yeah.
Was she a part of the same group as
Didn't she look like the wife of what's one of them?
No,
like
she's just a fixer. She's just
So is she like a part of the FBI or with Andy Garcia somewhere?
I felt like she worked with Andy Garcia.
Because that was never really explained, was it?
No. I mean, no, she's just, he needed passports and he needed fake docs, whatever, and he just knows a guy. And in this case, it's a lady.
I feel like if she had been a clear FBI character, I would have bought it better. I feel like it felt as part of the story more. I don't know.
Yeah, because there was so much she
out of place.
did, and she talked about it coming in with something like The Usual, as if he did this kind of international
Like
Imaginary
Mission
background
Impossible or
Yeah.
James Bond.
Yeah. He has a skill set that does make you think that he was trained and then just decided to become a crime boss and do his own thing. But the CIA just kind of keeps tabs on him and maybe says, hey, this guy over here is a bad guy. We know you like to kill bad guys, so go kill a bad guy. Like I kind of feel like
That's
the
a good
backstory is
backstory.
more
Yeah.
like the backstory is more interesting than just the revenge story we got. Like I almost feel like we want the backstory more of this this CIA hitman wet ops that decides that he's sick of the system and he wants to go into business for himself, and therefore he kills whoever he wants and robs whatever he wants. Like I kind of like that idea. But I don't think that the movie did us any favors by not telling us all that stuff. You guys were complained about the opening scene. I love part of the opening scene. You're not wrong in that those two dudes are bad actors. I
the
love
camera
the
work,
fact
though.
that it's so good. I love we're in
Yeah.
a fixed point in the back of the truck. We get very little information.
Yeah.
I really like that we get to witness this crime.
Because we're going to see it so many other times, right?
Yeah.
And you get another
piece. I'm right there with you.
every time.
Yeah.
You know what movie did this really well?
What's that?
And it's not a great film, but I think the story was told really well, and that's Vantage Point with
it's a neat
Dennis
movie.
Quaid.
Yeah.
Because you see the same story unfold like 5-6 times from different vantage points.
Yeah.
And this sort of does the same thing. And the time jumps make it a little more interesting, I think. But that first scene, like you're saying, to me, that felt really... I mean, yes, I enjoyed seeing it after. I appreciated it afterward. Does that make sense? Like as I was experiencing it the first time, I didn't really like it or understand it.
Sure.
But
Yeah, because the bad acting makes the whole thing seem so forced.
Yeah.
That you don't notice all the little details that you can go, oh, that's different when you see the next piece get dropped in the flashback, another vantage point. Like, I just, yeah. Like because he couldn't back up, and then there's just that big crash, and I'm like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
talking about a
cool when you
plan.
find that out later what they did, but it's they took way too long for that reveal.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I like the waiting. I felt like we had to earn it, and it gave, I think, because we see the crime 3 times basically, or the heist 3 times from 3 different vantage points, and I think I'm okay with having to wait to see version 2 and then version 3 for that. That just for me personally, like, I'm okay with that because like I feel like we had to earn it. And then by the time we get it that 3rd time where we see that it is Scott Eastwood who kills his son and then puts, 3 into him or whatever, it's like, oh, now we get like all of the motivation and stuff like that, like why he's doing this. So.
And I don't mind the wait, but I minded the pacing.
I got you. Okay.
Also, the first time we see it, we see the 2 armored guard guys just get mowed down outside the truck. And you don't get why. It looked like a cold-blooded, just execution style murder there. So it was interesting to me to see why they got shot, and of course Eastwood there being kind of unhinged to begin with, being the one that ended up doing it.
Yeah, I'm a little annoyed by that though, because if you're gonna pull the guards out, you're gonna take their weapons. There's no reason why that guard should have been allowed to keep his weapon.
Yeah.
Like that's how he ended up dying, is because he had his weapon. That really annoys me, is that happened. That should have never happened. I mean, if you just want to have Scott Eastwood be unhinged and just pop off and kill him, fine. Yeah. But like you're making I hate the victim blame here, but you're making them die. I mean,
he has a freaking handgun versus automatic weapons.
Well, that's not the point either. Like the point is,
no,
is that, like,
there's no chance. It's an idiotic move on his point.
It is, but it's an idiotic move on both of their points, right? When they got him out of the truck, the first thing they should have done is disarm them.
Yeah.
Right. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, if their intention was to legit not kill these men, because though they are soldiers, they're now, they're men that just are thieves. Their goal wasn't to kill these men, except for maybe Eastwood, who he's just looking for an excuse to shoot somebody, because some people legit join the army just so that they can have that. Not discouraging the army is a thing. Okay. You mentioned it earlier, Sam. You teased it when you threatened to kill me with the plastic bag over the thing. So anytime I see that in a movie, I get so freaking anxious, because you're actually doing that to an actor.
Yeah.
Now, usually the camera cuts away after a second or two, because that gives them a chance to take the bag off. But like in this scene, it felt like a really long time. And all I'm thinking about is, how are they preventing that man from actually suffocating? Is there a little hose in the back that's feeding him oxygen? Like is the bag not actually sealed? Like, is it kind of porous? Like, these are the things I'm thinking about, and I'm not paying attention to the movie because it's such a dangerous stunt. I mean, I've been on film sets where we were shooting guns, but they all had blanks. But we know there's lots of safety precautions, and obviously accidents happen. And we had squibs, and people were falling off of buildings. But I mean, we went through such precautions. I can't imagine this scene ever putting a plastic bag over an actor and the actor being okay with it. Just seems so crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that scene. Anytime I see it in a movie, it always just unnerves the hell out of me. It really makes me uncomfortable every time.
I think most of the cuts are really, really quick in that scene.
Yeah.
So I think they created an appearance of longevity that was not actually happening from the way it's edited together.
There is one scene that's long. I mean, scene's the wrong word. There is one take that's pretty long, and it's when they grab him out of the van by the feet.
Yeah,
drag
him across.
That felt like about 10 or 12 seconds, which is a long ass time to have your face in a bag. That's a long time, especially when you're having to act like you're terrified. So, that scene just really bothers me. It really does. I mean, seriously, like the Daniel Craig nut punch scene from Casino Royale. I can watch that all day. You put a bag over his head, I can't do it. It just makes me so uncomfortable. It really does.
Something else that bothered me. I lost my train of thought. How many times does this company get robbed in just a year's time? Like, this is the worst company.
The insurance on it should, this is not doing real well.
I mean, is everybody in Los Angeles just robbing armored trucks? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's funny. After the first one, the first one that starts the movie, and then we get 5 months later, right? And then like on Statham's like first day on the job, they get hit also. And I was like, okay, this movie can't possibly make us believe that armored trucks are getting robbed every 5 minutes, right?
I think those kind of robberies do happen in rashes, though. I think there's a copycat aspect.
Yeah.
I know this because I know somebody who robbed an armored truck a really long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah. Only recently her sentence was finished enough that she can do things like have social media. But and because of doing some research on it, because I was interested. But it's something people tend to copycat. Like, ooh, this is a good idea. I could do that. Like, and you see them every day, when you're out doing errands at the Walmart or at wherever. And then people get it in their head, and I think they happen in spurts.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that too. And that's with most other crimes as well.
Yeah.
So It's the.
And if they get away with it, you're going to target that place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they certainly did get away with it. But I mean, like those guys were very heavily armed. I mean, it was kind of amazing how much armament they were able to secure. I mean, I know these guys are ex-military, but like these guys were in full body armor. Like
you can't just go to Walmart and buy that stuff.
Yeah, like or even the Army surplus store. I mean,
that armor was nuts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare Juggernauts level stuff, madness.
They paid to play.
Yeah, they really did.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Any other things that we want to hit on before I play some clips?
How much does Scott look like his dad?
No kidding.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I was like, I recognize that guy. Where do I recognize? Like, boy, he'd be a great Wolverine. Oh no, holy crap, that's Clint Eastwood's son. It has to be. And then I looked it up.
I would love to see, I would love to see them remake some classic Clint Eastwood films with him as the
that'd
character.
be neat. Yeah, like Good, Bad, the Ugly or some kind of westerns or something. That'd be cool.
Or Dirty Harry or something.
Yeah, I like that idea. Actually, the one thing I did want to mention was, so this movie has very little joy and there's very little humor. I captured a little bit of some stuff that made me laugh, but for the most part, this movie has the only time I laughed out loud, though, was when I saw Post Malone. That was the only time I laughed. Because I was like, it's Post Malone. Like, he must be just, like, Guy Ritchie must be just, like, a fan of his and just said, hey, are you in L.A.? We're shooting. Yeah, actually, I am in L.A. Hey, cool. Why don't you come down and film set? I'll give you some lines. You can be a guy that gets shot in the face. Like.
Sure, why not? I feel obligated to say this movie does not pass the Bechdel test.
Yeah. Let's see.
By any stretch.
Yeah. Though I what was the movie that we did that had the Barkdale test? I can't remember what movie that we did. Where it was it was a dog quota or something like that. Anyway. All right, we ready for some clips? I have a few here. And I hope you can hear them. We're gonna find out. Let's play. Actually, I don't know if you will hear them now that I think about it.
We'll laugh and pretend that we do.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what happens if I do this.
Who's the cock?
You're a cock, Dave. I reckon our man here can pull yours right off.
He looks like he could handle a cock.
Yeah, small hands. Makes me very popular, and you look good.
What's that?
He said, I'm sure you'd win.
At what?
The pull-ups.
Did you all hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So that made me laugh. That was kind of a humorous thing. Like, he and Josh Hartnett are kind of getting into it, and it's like, it's that funny kind of thing where Hartnett thinks he's the badass, and though we like, even though we haven't seen Statham be a badass yet, like, we all know that Statham could take him apart, but he backs down because he needs the job. And I also thought it was really clever where he's like, you need to pass with a 70% accuracy, and he got exactly 70%.
That was so telegraphing of what was going on, though.
Yeah.
Right? I was just like,
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Speaking of that, now I know Andrew has his game, but I looked at some of the trivia, and I thought this was actually really cool. Andrew, does any of your game have anything to do with the shooting range?
No.
Good. When H is testing for the security job, the shots in the silhouette target are the same order as his son. Liver, lungs, spleen, heart.
That's what I thought. At the end of the movie, I kind of remember him hitting the 7 or something on the target.
It was the 6. So. It was up in the shoulder.
With the 6?
But at the left side.
There is one. There's one, though, that's not even in the body. Like, he misses completely.
He missed. He missed on purpose, though. Again, 70%. Yeah. He was going, if I'm going to fire 10 shots, I'm going to make sure I only put 7 in the body. He backs up the truck and then gets into the boxes a little bit, just enough. I always thought that was really funny. Like, I also was curious, how do you score a 70 on the driving test? Like, I feel like that's a pass-fail kind of a thing, but I don't know.
You don't do the 3-point turn correctly.
Yeah, you do 4.5 or something. I don't know.
Very
This is
low
a
bar.
long clip. This is kind of a long clip, but we've kind of bagged on some of the dialogue and some of the whatever. I liked this dialogue. Y'all might disagree, but for something about this, I really just kind of enjoyed.
Where'd you learn that technique? Spent a lot of time in supermarkets. Shopping. I can picture it now. A paragon of modern man on a wild sojourn. Stalking down the aisles, hunting for Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts are not really my poison bullet. I prefer to lose myself in the dizzy food coma of synthetic cheese and impossible meats.
What has the world come to? A direct line of evolution. From Paleolithic man
To a diabetic house husband. Harsh, but true.
Right. So I like that for several reasons. One, it's kind of showing Bullet that, okay, this guy is smarter than he lets on. Like, he's able to kind of hold a conversation, and like, it kind of reminded, like, it felt like that was the scene where Bullet realized, I can use this guy later in the, in his plans.
I don't feel like he uses him well, though.
Well, no.
So when he tries to use him, like, it wasn't so much of convincing him to help as, I'm going to kill you if you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he does say, well, what's in it for me? He's like, your life. It would have been, interesting if he would have taken the bribe, right? Like, well, what's in it for me? He's like, I'll throw you $1,000 to keep your mouth shut. Okay.
Yeah, I felt a little bad there was no money in that for him.
Yeah.
It's just like, here you threaten his life. Let's sweeten the deal a little bit there, buddy.
Like,
even if you're lying to him.
But they established in a previous conversation that they didn't trust him to bring him in. They had a conversation in the bar, like just him and one of the other guys in the heist, about how creeped out they were about him being super skilled and just, smart enough. And they were just like, scared of him.
I do, but also, I mean, in fairness, Statham saved Bullet's life.
Yeah.
So, like, Bullet could have been a little bit, hey, you saved my life, so therefore I'm going to help you out. I don't know.
Oh, that's right, because they were reacting to the fact that that one time they were getting robbed, the guys knew him and just ran when they saw him.
Yeah. That was my one of your middle names, where I was like, what? Like that was so confusing when because obviously in the moment we don't know that that's his crew. Then we later find out that it's crew. But like,
right.
Is his crew just going about business of robbing armored trucks without his permission? Or
without telling him?
Or without telling him, which either means that they're doing shady stuff under him, or that's just, well, the boss is on vacation. We're just going to go do bad guy stuff because that's what we do. But like, I don't understand why I don't just tell them, hey guys, I'm going to be doing this thing. I'm going to be in this truck. Go do your stuff. Just leave me alone.
Don't hit this truck.
Just don't hit this truck. Don't hit this company. Go do whatever you want. But
he lied to them. He told them he was going to London to take vacation.
But why?
Then he went under deep cover.
There was no reason to, other than to have this moment in the movie for us as the viewer to be confused.
Well, and do we know at that point that it was his son that got killed, right? So
we don't know that yet. No, as the audience, we don't know that yet.
See, if we had known that at that point, then we could say, well, he's, his team just thinks he's grieving and he needs to go be alone.
Because the movie at this point makes us, we think, and at least I did, like, oh, the circles that he was in before, because we all know that there's something he was in before, they are part of that circle. And when they see him, they run away. So I didn't know it was his crew. I just thought it was like, oh, wait a minute. That's like they hit the wrong truck. They done messed up Aaron. So it's time for them to go. But again, it was just, I still don't get, why can't he just tell his crew, this is my plan? Anyway.
He doesn't trust anyone.
But that seems weird. Like, I don't know. It just seems weird. I mean, I understand if you're the crime boss, you keep things close to your vest. But like that one guy felt like he'd been with him a long time, where he could speak freely, and I don't know. It just felt.
Yeah.
It seemed it does the thing in movies that I hate, when actors or characters act out of character for the sake of the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it always kind of annoys me.
It's the Hans problem.
It is the Hans problem. You're right. Go back and listen to our Frozen 2 episode, or whatever episode that was. I don't remember which one it was. The Hans problem. There you go. Polar bears.
Do you know why they called the Arctic the Arctic and the Antarctic the Antarctic?
No, Dougie, I don't. That's why I pay for you to go to good schools.
Artos means bear in Greek, and means without, hence Antartos, without bears.
Up with, down with that. Good news for ice cubes, bad news for polar bears. Time's the game start.
6:30.
There you go. Polar bears. I didn't know that. I hope that's real. I have no idea. I didn't look it up. I just like the lines.
There's good news for ice cubes, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was a strange recording I have. This is actually a recording of Sam telling his wife what he's going to do tomorrow now that he doesn't have anything to do for work.
Wake up late, watch TV, drink a beer and watch more TV. Maybe convince Ma to give me a few bucks so I can buy more beer and watch TV until I'm drunk enough to fall asleep. Did I mention I watch TV?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's exactly it. Yep.
Yeah, there's something coming up in that clip that I did also take a note of how overwrought the soundtrack is very often in this movie. Like in that conversation, I mean, they're basically sitting around, they're deciding they're going to start doing bad stuff, but they're just sitting around shooting the shit, and the music is like ominous.
Yeah.
For no reason. They're hanging out in the kitchen having a beer.
Yeah, it felt like the soundtrack was constantly trying to make us uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like he was always amped up, and like
Who
you,
did
like
the
you said.
soundtrack?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Let me look here.
Zimmer has done some of his other work before, but I don't know who did this one. I don't know. Somebody will find out. Well, I played this last one.
Sweetheart, what about the kids?
Yeah, feed them first. Bad animals, bad.
So even then, that's supposed to be kind of a funny moment, which is why I captured it. But that music, that tense music is still there, you know? Just
Sweetheart, what about the kids?
Yeah, feed them first. Bad animals, bad.
I mean, why? It's not, and it doesn't do a service to, like, you're trying to show the contrast of this guy having a normal day birthday party with his family. It would have benefited from just having normal noise instead of constantly being so dramatic.
Yeah. Christopher Benstead is this guy's name, and his IMDb photo is him playing the cello, which I think is like 90% of this music is just him playing the cello.
Nice.
So he has done such films as let's see, he did The Gentleman, which was just a few years ago, Wrath of Man, something called Rupture, and something coming up called The Interpreter. And that's it.
Huh.
So he's new to the game. He's new to the game. He's done other stuff, right? He's done like music editor and for a bunch of other stuff. Oh, he was assistant to the main composer for Sahara.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, there we go. Assistant music editor for Kingdom of Heaven, assistant music editor for Aragon, Last Legion, 10,000 BC, Thor. He did Thor. He did music editor for Thor.
Nice.
So yeah, the guy's got some. You know, he's working. He's doing his thing.
Okay, so that's not a place they cut corners like with those first two actors.
No, I mean, again, like, you know, Guy Ritchie does Sherlock Holmes and he gets Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
He does this movie and gets the dude that I just said that's got 5 credits to his name.
So, by the way, Antarctic does actually mean no bears.
Oh,
it's where the name came from, but the bears are not referring to like polar bears. It's referring to constellations because they only appear in the northern hemisphere. The big bear and little bear things.
Oh, neat.
Interesting.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
And it's funny how it makes sense both ways.
Yeah.
So cool.
It does. That's it. This is time for our game. And our game this week is being sponsored by...
Hey, it's Ebony, and you may know me from such podcasts as the Gruesome Twosome Movie Reviews. But did you know I also have a solo podcast? That's right, the Sweet and Sour Nuggies podcast, with one episode on short life stories of the sweet and sour variety, and the other Mental Health Mondays to be your guide to everything mental health and more. So grab your nuggies and follow us at SS Nuggies Pod on both Twitter and Instagram. Sweet and Sour Nuggies podcast, available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and more. Now readily available for your listening pleasure.
All right, time for this.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
This game is called Hey, Did You Notice? This is a game where Andrew will ask us really ridiculous, hard questions about the movie. And did you notice within the movie? There will be 5 questions. It's a back and forth kind of game. Our guest, September, will go first. If you get the question right, you get a point. If you get the question wrong, the opponent or the other person gets to take the guess. Sam, are you going to play or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, I'll try.
All right. September, you're up.
All right, September, how much money does Dana find and then take and store as a retirement fund?
$125,000.
That is correct.
Oh, dang.
Point for September.
I had that one too.
I'm usually really bad at these games. I can't believe I remembered that.
Sam, after a violent incident, the company therapists recommend the depot vault company, whatever that's called. The company therapists recommend employees being taken off the frontline duty for how long?
30 days, I believe, isn't it?
That is correct. 1 month or longer is what they say.
Nice. Good job.
All right, so it's 1-1.
Wow.
All right, September, we go back to you. At the beginning of the film, when Bullet is showing H around and showing him to the locker room, he hands him a key to his locker. What was his locker number?
Oh, my gosh.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is the level of question.
Oh, man.
76.
That's not correct. Sam, do you have a guess?
I would guess an 85.
It was 59.
Oh,
Luke Kuechly.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice.
We're in the 2-digit range. It's not bad.
Yeah.
All right, Sam, this one goes to you.
All right.
Dougie and his father are stopping to get burritos. Really going to a heist, but H says they're going to get burritos. What's the name of the food truck where he picks up the burritos? Which, by the way, is a real food truck in Los Angeles.
Is it Los Tacos?
No, that's not correct. September, you have a chance to steal. Do you know?
All right, let me think. It was fusion. It was American Mexican fusion. I remember because I was trying to see the menu. I want a food truck. It's a dream. Okay.
I'm actually gonna. Oh, go ahead.
So yeah, I don't know. Fusion go thing. I don't know.
I'm gonna go ahead and give you the full point because you have the words there. It was actually called Go Fusion Grill.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
nice.
So a point for you, Sam. You have a chance to tie it up here.
Dear. Okay, here we go. I got it.
All right, and then I have a tiebreaker if needed. Dougie is shot 6 times in 4 organs. 2 of the organs he has shot twice in each. 2 of the organs he shot once in each. What 2 organs was he shot once in?
Holy crap. This is like a really bad math problem. The spleen and the lungs.
That is not correct.
Oh, dang it.
September.
The spleen and the heart.
That is also not correct.
What? They're so
he was,
small.
He was shot once in the spleen, which you guys
so I
did
got
get that one.
Yep.
And once in the liver. He was shot twice in the lung and twice in the heart. So now we have to go to sudden death here.
Wait, no, she wins.
No, she won 2-1.
Oh, is it 2-1?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I had
lost track of the
to get
score
it
there.
right to get it to go.
Okay. Well, I still want to ask this sudden death question.
That's fine.
Just because we'll just ask September, because I have a feeling that us music folks probably know. What is the ringtone of H's cell phone?
Ride of the Valkyries.
Yes, that's correct. All right. Well, you won anyway. There you go.
So one of the ones I thought you were gonna pick up on was during the explanation heist montage. All of the vehicles are represented by matchbox cars, except which vehicle?
Ooh, I didn't catch that one.
They wrote the Escalade on one, right?
Yeah, and they wrote Popo on the others.
Yeah, but they were actual matchbox cars. But one of them wasn't a car. Which one?
Oh, that was the SWAT vehicle.
No, it's a car.
It was
It's a truck.
Was there a truck?
Yeah, it was a little toy truck. But the Prius to the Escape was a battery.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
no,
wife
now I have a
noticed that.
second favorite thing about the movie.
Yeah, my wife noticed that, and she thought it was pretty funny. I did read this other piece of trivia, which I think is really weird, is at early development of this film, Sandra Bullock was attached to star. I don't know for what.
Where? Yeah.
Yeah.
She would have been Statham's character?
No, she would have been in one of the she might have been in the job in the
She might have been the fixer.
But that's a small role for Sandra Bullock. You need to have her.
Yeah, maybe she would have been the FBI guy. Maybe she would have been the Andy Garcia.
Andy Garcia? Yeah, still feels like a. Anyway, it's fine. Time for this. No, time for this.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Time for our top 3. So, if you're listening and you follow us, I should say, not watch us, but follow us on Twitter, then you think our top 3 is Jason Statham movies. However, after I post that, I found out that not all of us have seen a lot of Jason Statham movies. So we're going to do heist movies for us, but Twitter gladly participated in Jason Statham movies. So I'll give a few shout outs to that. Sam. Uh-oh.
Well.
Okay. For a moment, I thought I lost internet again. So
No.
September, why don't you go while Sam fixes his thing?
Okay, so heist movies, my choices are weird, I guess, but Sneakers is right up there.
Oh, I love me some Sneakers.
Yeah, Sneakers is great.
And thinking about it today, I was like, I'm gonna watch that again. That will cleanse this movie from my watching palette. Because I did watch
how many
twice,
of us
but,
would walk across a room and try not to set the motion alarm off too, right?
No kidding.
Directly from that movie. Yep.
Right? Absolutely. Yep. Hackers.
Okay.
I love the movie Hackers, and I consider it's very heisty. It's got all those hijinks in it of having to sneak around, and then different organizations and bad guys, and they have to pull off this serious hack to save everyone and hack the planet and stuff.
It's like that great hacking movie. What was it?
Swordfish.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I'm so attached to Hackers. So I was having a lot of trouble with a number 3, because Can I use a TV show?
Sure.
Guests
Mr.
pretty
Robot.
much can do whatever they want them to do.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Robot.
Mr. Robot. You know, that's on my list of shame. I'd like to try.
Yeah, same here.
Right.
I mean,
I've heard
it's
really good.
Slater just doing heists all the time. Every show, it's what he does, and he's a perfect cast for that. But I mean, there's an overall goal, to change the world and everything, and he's mad. So also, yeah, good part for Slater.
Interesting.
Cool. All right.
I almost picked Office Space.
Nice. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, that's one too.
Yeah.
I go for it.
You can have some comedy. It doesn't have to be all everybody shooting each other all the time to have a good heist.
Yeah.
I don't mean to derail our segment here, but I forgot something really important.
Okay.
So our army guys, they're doing this heist. They've planned everything out. And at the very end, Bullet is taking the money with Eastwood, and there's only 2 ATVs. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For them to drive out to the getaway. I feel like that was a plot hole. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail us, but
Or maybe
it
they
was
were
something
going
I forgot to mention.
to walk away on a different way or split up at that point.
Well, there was 2 cars as getaways. There was the Prius and the pickup truck. So there was intention to have more people. So I guess you just if you're expecting at least 4, then you double up on the 4-wheelers.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but they started with more than 4 though, right?
6,
well, yeah,
there's 6 plus Bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was
Sorry, that
7.
bothered me.
Yeah, well, it's like it's like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right? Every vehicle that they take only fits enough people that they need.
Right.
like as if Wonka knew that they would be losing people throughout the tour.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he did too.
Yeah.
Sorry, back on track now.
Yeah, you're fine. Sam.
All right. Now that I'm back, I've got my number 3 is Ant-Man.
All right.
Yeah.
My number 2 is an often overlooked movie, Inside Man.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Just good stuff. And my number 1 is one of my favorite movies, Inception.
All right.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, that almost made my list too.
Yeah, very good. Okay, I will do my 3, and that is I did my honorable mention of Sneakers because I love that movie also. It makes me so happy. I basically did Jason Statham / heist kind of movies. So my number 3 is Death Race.
Mm-hmm.
Not really a heist movie, more of just a getaway movie, but I kind of like that movie. It's dumb fun, and it's not like my top. It's not really my 3rd favorite Statham movie, but it's kind of up there. I like it a lot. Number 2, The Transporter, the first one, just good classic, good driving cars and stuff. And then number 1, The Italian Job. Hands and Rob.
That's another good one too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sticky John.
I am the real Napster. All right. Twitter gave us a bunch of great answers, and
I didn't have any.
I forgot you go. How do I forget you go before Twitter? Andrew, what are your 4? Look, you can kind of allow me to have a little bit because tonight's been weird. Andrew, what are yours?
That's true. I have Reservoir Dogs at number 3. Blue Streak at number 2 with Martin Short.
Martin Lawrence. Yeah.
Martin Lawrence. Sorry, that would have been a different movie with Martin Short. And then number 1, I have Rogue One.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah.
I forgot about Rogue One. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Now Twitter.
Yeah, I know. Well, in this case, it wouldn't have mattered because you're not going to have anywhere close to the same. Because Twitter gave us Jason Statham movies. So our good friend who was on the show a few weeks ago, Trip Rogers, who was also America's Next Top Podcaster contestant, Mechanic, Expendables, and Expendables 2. 2 Idiots and a Dog says Transporter, Death Race, The Meg. Ben Buster, who we've also had on, Crank, Italian Job, Wrath of Man. Let's see. Screen Nerds Podcast says Transporter, Expendables, Wrath of Man. Let's see. My Game Ace 85 says Transporters, The Bank Job, Hobbs and Shaw. I'm going to scroll down through a few others because these are all pretty much the same. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Chance Whitmore 5 says Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and Sherlock Holmes. So I think he thought Guy Ritchie
movies, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. But I couldn't do this without saying this one. Good friend of the show, Ebony, at Ebony6 on Twitter, who's going to be on our show in a few weeks. She is our Australian listener. She said, quote, The Italian Job, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and The Transporter. And any film where he just looks at only me through the camera and says, "Hello, Daddy." There you go.
Nice.
All right, Ebony, that was just for you. I hope you enjoyed that. Hello, Daddy. She wanted it in a nice voice. I felt like Andrew just was more fit for the better cast than myself. All right. Time for this last little segment here.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
This is where we give the movie a score. We give this movie a score from 0 to 10, with 0 being really, really bad and 10 being really, really good. I don't know why I feel like I need to explain that. I just did. Andrew.
IMDb has a 7.1 for this film, and I can't go that high. I'm going to give this, just for the dialogue alone, it's enjoyable, and I probably would watch it again, and I may even enjoy it more the second time around. But I'm going to give this a 5.9 cardigans out of 10.
Okay, you went with his locker number. I like it.
Yeah.
September.
Oof. Yeah. I'm gonna just 5.
All right, that's fine.
I watched it twice. It was better the second time, and it's still only getting a 5. I will never watch it again, and I won't recommend it to most people.
All right, that's fair. Sam.
I apparently enjoyed this more than most. I got to give this a good 6.98 out of 10. I thought it was fun. Yeah, it had its problems. Yeah, it started slow, but I think it really ramped up by the end. And I was completely off my computer, off my phone for the final 30, 45 minutes of this movie. So, good stuff.
Yeah, I liked it too, actually. As much as I did kind of rail on it earlier as well, I had a good time with it. I think it gets a little bit extra because it's a Guy Ritchie film. It disappointed a little bit because of how much I love some of his other films, but I still had a good time with it. So I'm going to give it a 6.5. 6.5, giving us a nice round number of 6.095. I think that's pretty fair for this movie. This is now where I say, September, it's been such a pleasure. Please tell our listeners where they can find you and your shows, because you have like 13 that you do.
Well, not 13, but I am doing a handful right now, which is good because, I can be a handful. If anyone wants to find them, just go to 9of12.com. It's NINEOF12.com, and you can find all of my stuff there.
Cool. And none of 12. It apparently it took Scott Johnson a really long time to understand what that meant, which is really funny.
Over and over.
Because you've explained it at least 3 times that you've been on the show. It's really great. I love it. Well, it is.
To be fair, it took me a minute. Someone wrote me a note. I took a message at my apartment, addressed it to 9 of 12, and I was like, and I knew it was for me because of the context of the message, and I was like, but what? Wait. He's like, it's you, September, and I was just like, cool, and also sounds like a great board name, and to the internet.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Speaking of Borg, I forgot to mention our Star Trek connection. The actor's name is Babs Olasamokun. His character name was Moggy. He was one of the Jason Statham henchmen. I guess he was the black guy that was the henchman for Jason Statham. He is the doctor in the new series Strange New Worlds, and he's really good in it. And that show is awesome. Strange New Worlds. It's really good.
Very good.
Yeah. So there's our Star Trek connection. As soon as I saw him on screen, I'm like, hey, it's the doctor, M'Baga. That's great. That's it. That's our show. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that this sounds decent enough, because I have no idea how Skype is going to record this, but we'll all find out. In the meantime, go to facebook.com/cheapseatreviews, or don't go there. Go to cheapseatreviews.libsyn.com. There you can find links to all of our other social media places. And next week, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited. Next week, we are doing our 400th episode. It is a trivia competition. We're bringing back 11 celebrated guests that have been on the podcast. Battle of the Cheap Seat Reviews All-Stars. We're going to have questions that are rather difficult and a lot of fun. There's going to be 3 rounds of questions. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be exciting, and I hope that it actually does work. Next week, episode 400, because I've never had 14 people on a call before. I have no idea how this is going to go. I'm very excited for it. It's going to be a lot of fun, one way or the other. With that all having said, on behalf of September, Andrew, and Sam, this is Sean saying thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next week for the 400th episode.
This is Cheap Seat Reviews.